What is going on, guys? It is your boy Cash, and today we are here again with some more cards. And you know how it is. Let's just go right into it. So first up, we got Melali, the Wing Shredder. I was reading this card because obviously it's been posted up on my screen for while I was preparing the video. I'm like, what is this? So we have a rush. Whenever allied fairy comes into play, destroy it. So first of all, this guy's a dick. Then on top of that, whenever an allied fairy is destroyed, because he's destroying them, gain +1/+1 and deal 1 damage to the enemy leader. Now, I'm very surprised that this is a silver card. As I'm reading this, and remember there was the other card that was giving you fairies, and there's a lot of fairy generation in the previous expansions as well. So it's just really strange that they gave a silver card the ability. Let's say turn 10, magical times, right? You drop him for 3 and you play 7 fairies. That is 7 damage to the face. He becomes a 9/9 with rush. You know what I mean? Which is kind of crazy. So, but obviously there's probably other better combinations that you want to do, especially because you can then play like Arya's Wind in there and he won't die. You can throw some Fairy Wisp in there to, to make the Arya's Wind stronger. And there's a lot of little weird things that you can do with it. And hopefully there's more that might make the fairy 0 cost in the hand or something of that nature that will make him, even stronger. But it's for a silver card. That's kind of stacked because yes, he gets all those +1/+1s. He attacks something, and then it's like, well, he'll have a certain amount of defense left. Can the opponent deal with this card? Now it's silver, which doesn't mean anything as far as like, it's just, you're gonna see it if it's good in the deck. You're gonna see it because it's very cheap to make. So very strong card. I'm very surprised. And then of course I looked ahead a little bit and like Nature's Corroded. Oh, by the way, let's get some more fairy generation. Yeah, that's crazy. Destroy an enemy follower amulet, which is pretty good. I mean, if people keep their cores out, it's nice that if you guys have noticed, there's been a little bit more amulet destruction to take people's cores. If they just drop them on a turn early, you can then take it out, and this one now you get a fairy in the hand. So I do like that there's a little bit more amulet destruction coming out. See, like it kind of makes this card a little bit better, right? Slightly, not by a lot, but just slightly. Next up, we have the other legendary. Finally, it had the other sword legendary, letting us know how far is sword going to be, top 2 or top 1. So we have Accelerate, randomly summon 2 of the following: Cannoneer, Buccaneer, or Marine Raider. This sounds awfully familiar. Alright, so whenever you play a loot card, so of course, we gotta support the loot meta. I can't say anything because Rune has gotten so much. I have to hope that sword can contest, or else my friend will cry bloody murder. Whenever you play a loot card for the first time on each of your turns, so only once, summon a pirate and a Viking. That's kind of like the spell, the old spell that they used to have. So let's check out these lovely characters, right? So a Buccaneer is a 1/3 with Drain. Last words, put a Gilded Goblet, which is a loot card. So when it dies, it gives you a loot card. The Marine Raider is a 2/2 officer. Oh yeah, let me check what that one is. Is a officer as well. That's somewhat important, I guess, depending if there's like a Magnolia. If these things are officers, they're gonna combine with that, right? So now the Marine Raider has the follower strike, which is them rewording clash, right? Because strike is when this follower attacks, and now it says follower strike, so when this follower strikes another follower. So the rewording clash. So whenever this follower attacks an enemy follower, which is deal 1 damage to it before, so yeah, it's clash, deal 1 damage first. And then this one is last words, put a Gilded Blade into the hand. So it's so weird that they give a lot of free spell generation to sword because it's like the safest place to put it. A lot of other classes getting certain spells would just be murder. So, and I'm not just talking about Rune either. Like a lot of classes would be super strong if they were getting like increase their health, or like Haven would be really crazy with like spells like these, like give me more health and trigger like 15 other things. So yeah, so this card's okay. And then we have the Canyoneer is the last one, right? It's a 2/1 with rush, and it gives the boots. So pretty much it seems as though, so you can accelerate, right? And for 4 costs, and you're gonna get one of those 2 cards. They're going to come out on the field. When they die, they're going to give you 2 loot cards pretty much, which is pretty good. Then if you play her for actually 7, when she's actually out in the field, you will get a pirate and a Viking. Now, if you guys don't remember, it's a card that used to do this. So the pirate is a 2/2 ward, and the Viking is a 3/2 storm. So every turn, essentially, when this card is out, you play it for 7, but technically on turn 8, you play her for 7, turn 8, and you play one of the loot cards that you got earlier from possibly generating this, or from having it from, I don't know, any other card that generates loot in the game currently for sword, which are a lot, obviously. And then boom, you get a storm, a 3 damage storm to the face or to the thing, and now she is protected, and the storm minion is now going to be protected from the 2/2 ward. Really good card, supports the loot meta. So as far as this legendary, it's spot on, excellent, beautiful card for sword. You're definitely gonna see this in the rotation. It's just, and it's a 7 drop, and we all know, what is the 7? I can't do anything for 7. Here you go. Shut the fuck up. Next up is gonna be a Dragoncraft card that is Machina, some little Machina support, and it's gonna come down to if another allied Machina follower is in play, this one will gain Storm. Doesn't mean that you have to have played it in the same turn. It just has to be in play, which is really good if, you know, when there's cards, there's so many floored. I can't believe I just said floored. It is a fusion of floor and board. If there is what? Alright, so if there are actually other Machinas on the board, because it was flooded the previous turn, they couldn't deal with all of it. Now you have this threat of a 2/1, if not 4/3 with the Evo. So, you know, that's what I was trying to say. And, you know, words don't work out the way that you always want them to. So this card's obviously good if you're going aggro dragon, and you're just flooding the field, the opponent can't deal with it, and next thing you know, boom, the next turn you be able to throw a storm out, do even more damage, plus whatever you have off on the field. This card's really good for aggro dragon. Next up, Orca Run, with probably one of the worst looking arts. Well, actually it looks good if like in a Bob Rossi way, I don't know. Now this is deal 3 damage to an enemy follower. If overflow is active, put 2 mega lurkers in your hand. I just wanted to double check this is the standard one. Yeah, I just have the Machina one. So yeah, this one is just 3 damage and then put 2 smaller minions in your hand. Makes me wonder if they'll reprint Prime Keeper or whatever the name is. Here we go. So he's 3 costs, and it concerns me because his 7 costs his older brother version I should call it, was annoying as hell. So we had a free Evo at Enhanced 6, right, from this card. He's a 3/3. He also evolves and becomes a 3/3. So his evolve effect has to be mwah. And let's see, he gains Storm, and he has Leader Strike. So that's why they switched the whole Follower Strike and Leader Strike. So when this guy attacks the enemy leader, reanimate 4. That's gonna be like a lot of, you gotta really look into the game to really see how effective that is. As far as him not getting any stats when he evos is kind of crazy, but him reviving a card that evos for 4, I think we need to wait and see. Like, of course there's a bunch of cards like Osiris, Bloodbone, the Bone Drone, I think it's called. I'm trying to think off the top of my head some cards that, but I feel like 4 costs is not like the craziest thing. If it was 5, it'd be stupid, because then he could actually revive like Cirrus or something of that nature. Then it would have been like, yo, this is busted. But reanimating 4, we'd have to see. I feel like there might be another minion that costs 4, either that they haven't revealed, or maybe they did reveal it, I just don't remember. But yeah, we'll see. Spectral Cascade. Now this thing I was reading before is nuts. So give your leader the following effect: at the end of this turn, summon zombies until your area is full. Now it is only to 1 turn, so you play it for 7, and then you'll get a full board of zombies. But if you play it for 9, randomly put different Shadowcraft followers from your deck into play until your area is full, then destroy those followers. So a big reanimation. Obviously this is a really strong reanimation. 9 costs. You're playing a bunch of last words. It's going back to the classic. One of my first favorite versions of Shadowcraft was just a bunch of last words and a bunch of weird things triggering, and the opponent can't do anything for it. And I think the old card was a 9 cost. It was Nefertiti, I think it was. She was either 8 or 9, and she did pretty much this. But you also had a body on the field when you did it. So you had a body, and then the other 4 cards that came out, you have to roll the RNG dice that they were going to be good. But in this case, you just play the spell, and then that happens. So kind of curious. It'd be interesting if this happens first. It could be worded the other way. I'm not 100% sure. I do apologize, because it could just be, instead of the zombies now, it's switching to Shadowcraft followers at the end of your turn, which really seems underwhelming if that was the case. I would like it if both happened for 9. You get a bunch of effects, and then the rest of your field is filled with zombies, because some last words summon other creatures. So we'll see how that works. It's still good either way, but I would hope that it's not just you ending your turn and you got a RNG hope for good things to come out. And this is definitely like that. This is definitely, because this doesn't even support us mocking a shadow. So it's just like, you got to play reanimate. And I don't, off the top of my head, know any good last words that would even, last word followers that would be really good for this. So next up, we got the Mechaforged Devil, which is a Bloodcraft Machina card. And Bloodcraft, more Machina in blood is strong. Plus, what this card does, look at this effect. So we got a Fanfare, put an assembly joint into the hand, which is helping out the legendary currently, I forgot his name, Slain, I think his name is. That is great for him, because of course now you can even evo it and put a repair mode in your hand and recover 2 play points. What they're teasing at is if you need to play both of them for some reason, but we both know that this guy just put 2 Machina cards into your hand. And of course, for mono, it also helps that you just got another free assembly droid to then play if you needed to help that out a little bit. And he's Machina, so it definitely just strengthens the Machina deck by being able to run another Machina card and not run some of the other filler cards that are in the deck, making that deck really strong. And they kind of have to, guys. You got to remember, Darkfeast Bat is rotating, and that was kind of like the whole lust, thing of lust for Machina, for blood, and now they're going to be losing that. So there needed something that's probably going to have to replace it, and it looks like they're just going to be going hard into that one Machina blood archetype. So we'll see if there's even more support, but right now this card's really good and going straight in the deck. Next up is going to be the Prison of Pain. Countdown 2, Fanfare, deal 1 to your leader and draw a card. At the end of the turn, deal 1 to your leader and draw a card. So pretty good. It costs 3. You Fanfare, draw it, do it, and then for the next couple turns, next couple turns, for literally the next 2 turns, you'll deal 1 damage to yourself and draw a card. But there's no Darkfeast Bat, so you might not want to do too many of these type of cards, because you're just going to hurt yourself and you might not get too much reward out of it. There is obviously really big healing. Also, you could technically put this in the Machina draw, the Machina draw deck, the Machina blood deck, and you'll heal back because of Slain. Him healing, you also have other ways of healing. Hell, throw Florus in there. I'm just kidding. But, and also people, there's a lot of drain inside of Bloodcraft, even without running pure foolishness that they have. So we'll see exactly where that goes, but it does seem like the Lust deck can still work, because Darkfeast Bat is rotating, but not the Omen of Lust. Like, she's still going to be in there, so you could still sort of run that deck, maybe if they give it a little bit more support, and then you still could run like maybe the hand buff and have like those storms in there. We'll see. And of course, another Bloodcraft Machina. I'm telling you, they're going all in. They are going all in. Whenever an allied serpent comes into play, change it into a Machina follower. Ooh, that's pretty good. He's 2 costs, so that's really good. And you can also evolve summon 2 serpents. Whenever an allied serpent comes into play, change it into a Machina follower. So this is a way to just ramp up Momo. Like pretty much, I call her Mono also, but whatever. So she's a 2 cost, 1/3, which is very heavily statted, regardless of if you're putting out serpents. There are cards that do put out serpents, so you could change those into Machina followers. I think it's a 3 cost Viper Lash, I think it would be the card. And then yes, you could even have a bunch of serpents out here. Plus now you can run the Medusa, and she puts out a bunch of serpents. Also, let's just keep it going, right? The Destructive Succubus also puts out serpents as long as you're in Vengeance. So play her for 2, and then play a cost reduced Destructive Succubus, and then they'll all turn into Machina Wards. So really cool stuff that you could do there. I really enjoy that this card. I definitely think it's going to be played. I mean, of course, the other card, like Bloodcraft, is getting so much because they know that they're losing Darkfeast Bat, so they have to give them a very strong deck to compete in the meta, and it seems like they're spot on so far. Another Bloodcraft card, not Machina though. This one is Nephilo, Dour Demon, and he can't be targeted by enemy spells and effects. Pretty much that is his claim to glory. He's a 3/3/3, which is really good stats, and he also has a Fanfare, which if at sorry, he has a fanfare, but enhance at 7, gain +4/+4, which makes him a 7/7, turn 7 that can't be targeted by enemy spells and effects. For what it's worth, that's nuts. And what you're looking at here, actually, when you're using this card, this is hand buff blood card. How? Why? Because of Laura. You give him Storm in magical ways. You make him strong, and you give him, give him all the buffs that you want. Play him on turn 7. Give him himself even more destruction, and he can't be targeted by anything. You would need random destruction to kill this guy, and only one that has that kind of, well, Haven just is losing one of their cards in rotation for that. So there's not that much random death that you can put on a card like this. This card actually is kind of busted when you really think about it. If in hand buff, you're doing hand buff, you bust this guy up, you give him Storm, you play him on turn 7, he's minimum 7/7, if not more, and worse than that. You can obviously attack and kill him, but he might have some crazy stats, and then also hitting the face for possibly more than 7, which would be like 9 damage or something of that nature. If he got boosted up once, if that's one relinquished reasoning that, if anything. Now remember, we also have the Hellblade demon, not Hellblade, I think it's Hell whatever demon, the 2/2 ward that buffs depending on how many followers are on there. Now he can also benefit from that, just kind of getting stacks in the hand. Then you just play him, but you need Laura though. It's like you're betting and banking on this card to pretty much bail you out of jail. Still pretty good though. I think even if you don't put it in, like if it's just a card, a one-off card, you just want a good 3-drop. Very strange that it's just a really good bronze card. It's just really good. Next up, we're gonna have a Portalcraft Machina card. Again, they're putting more Machina to make your nice Machina smooth deck. So what happens? You play Baphomet and it's insanity. But again, I've always said this about Baphomet, is that they need a way to actually get him into the hand. So I'm hoping that, I'm already reading this as you probably are reading it on the screen, but I'm really hoping that they give Portal more card draw, or a way to kind of pull him to guarantee you get him. Because right now it's like, yeah, you can run the Machina, a lot of the Machina cards are gonna die, and then you have the Technolord that was pretty much will AoE clear the board because there's so much Machina. And this is also not just for Portal, I should say. Technolord's going to be busted in a lot of decks though. The Blood's going to have like all those Machina followers dying now. The Serpents are turning into Machina, and Technolord's clearing entire fields of Technolord might be up to 20 now, like early, which sounds crazy, but what Portal needs specifically, Portal needs like deck search. They need to be able to, I think they call them tutors. That's the slang word you young kids are using for the card games now. We used to call that just deck search. Yeah, deck search, buddy. All right, so he is a 5/6, 6 cost 5/6, and if Resonance is active for you, he will gain Rush. You can also play him on turn 9, and he'll be a +3/+3. Now, funny, we go from the other bronze card to this bronze card. Like playing something for 9 seems nuts in Portalcraft. If you want to play something for 9, that needs to like change the entire aspect of the game. He only gains Rush if your Resonance is active, so he's not always going to have Rush. And yes, he's a 8/9 follower at turn 9, but you just kind of drop him there. And like it's kind of like Yu-Gi-Oh, old school Yu-Gi-Oh. It's like these normal monsters that have crazy good stats, decent stats, but they have no effects. And this guy seems like doesn't have an effect outside of the fact that you can just put more Machina in the deck, and then it gives you more of the other cards, but still doesn't seem okay. I feel like there might be something I'm missing, but right now he seems okay, but I don't know if I want to put a 6 cost card in my deck that might not have Rush when I actually need to play it on turn 6. And this is turn 6, which is where you want Baphomet, so really hard sell for me. Next up is a neutral amulet. At the end of the turn, give a random follower +1. And it says at the end of the turn, give a random allied follower with no card text ward. Now they actually went out on the Twitter and explained what is a card with no card text. It's pretty much a card that does absolutely nothing, has nothing on the card text at all. So what they're saying is pretty much like a goblin. A goblin has no card text. It's just a goblin. There's no fancy thing that it does and anything like that. So this card is like a pretty much for a neutral based deck, which we really haven't seen in a while. When was the last time there was an actual neutral deck like you played and it was neutral? I don't even know what expansion that was, and that's going for any deck like neutral. But I guess you could say this is currently like a neutral focus meta with Machina. Machina is kind of neutral, but it's really driven by the class-based cards, and the class-based cards usually have an effect on it. So I don't know how good this card is. Yes, it will boost up the Machinas. If it's there, you play it for 2. It will give your assembly droid +1. Also, it will give it ward, because I don't think the android droids have ward. Sorry, have text. Yeah, see, this is the assembly droid that comes out with all the other things. No text on it whatsoever, so it would help out, I guess, but it just seems like a waste of space, really. It's not counted as a Machina card as well, so like for people like Portal, see, like this is not considered a Machina card, so it's just like it doesn't help you. Like for Portal, it's just a random amulet. I guess maybe Haven with the Untrue God can kind of get this on their turn, and it will boost up some other things. I don't know, it just seems like it's just not that good in my opinion. I don't think you're gonna see it at all. And that is it currently of the cards that they dropped as of this morning. It's pretty early in the morning at 6 a.m. here. So I gotta edit this, and by the time I edit this, they'll drop 6 cards, and they'll be like, "You didn't do all the cards. You said you would help us out." But they did a pretty good job of updating this pretty quickly. So I'm kind of happy. I think that the game is in really good style. As far as, and I like to do this, as far as like who's stronger as the cards getting released, Sword definitely just got a big boost, I'd have to say. Definitely got a big boost. Dragon didn't get too much. This shadow card is okay, and this shadow card seems okay, but really needs to be tested or elaborated on to really get the gist of it. Do you get both of these effects? If you enhance 9, that this one happens first and then this happens? Or is it that your leader gets randomly thing at the end of the turn, which I just haven't seen any last word things that are really going to make that good at all. Because remember, this one's going from the deck, right? So it's not from your hand or anything like that. So some big, like if you play Tartarus or something like that, I mean, this one can happen, right? It's kind of like support for this, kind of, sort of. Because this, when you play this, it puts a about into your deck, right, without accelerate. And it costs 7, right? So it kind of synergizes with this. Play this on turn 6, right? Summon a Path of Purgatory, put this into the deck. You play this on turn, on turn 9. You play this on turn 9. You get another Path of Purgatory pretty much for free, and it says different followers. It doesn't say different costs, but different followers. So technically, you might not even get the 7 play cost Hades in the deck, right? It also could just kill the 12.1, right, in the deck. And this has, yeah, it has base last words, summon a Path of Purgatory, gain 6 shadows. So that doesn't matter whether or not this was used for the 7 cost or not. This can pretty much bring it out, and then you have Path of. So this is Path of Purgatory, but I don't know. I still think that right now Blood has come up. Blood has come up in the meta with all these really good cards. These cards make Blood come up a lot. Rune is still, I think, top tier as far as this. And Sword, with this one card, this is the only card that they kind of reveal for Sword, right? Seeing like it really, really is going to help out. Force also getting another weird kind of meta added to it with the fairy destruction. Now we got to look out by, being able to kill a bunch of fairies and how effective that's going to be, because one of the best things about Forest is flooding the board. And if you're playing a bunch of cards and you only have this one guy here and there's no Yggdrasil, would have been busted with this. Yggdrasil would actually be able to give this, and I was thinking back in my head, Yggdrasil would have been able to give you the thing, but right, Yggdrasil is rotating. So in Unlimited, this might be the new, this card might be the new one-hit quitter, in there, but it's not as good as Roach. Roach, I think, is a little bit easier to do. You keep bouncing the card back and forth, keep the threat in the hand. The opponent can't really deal with it at all. So this card is going to be interesting, but that's about it. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.